Welcome to the Garden Report on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog. My name is Jared Weiss. Next to me is Jimmy Toscano. What's up, Jimmy? We both start with Jays. Both had a good time at this game tonight. An early start, which was awesome.
Great game.
Because it's only 9 o'clock and we're filming. Usually it's about 2 hours later,
right.
So that's great. So the Celtics fell 127 to 123. You're watching the Garden Report powered by ZipRecruiter. If you want to hire someone, you got to do it the right way. You go to ZipRecruiter.com/sportsfan and you can post your job to over 200 job boards. Just like that. Power of electronics, internet, apps. It's all amazing.
Mail in a resume. And
speaking of mailing it in, the Celtics, I was kidding.
I was going to say something now. I was going to say, speaking of a resume,
okay,
the Blazers hired Evan Turner from the Celtics. We're going to talk a little bit about Evan Turner.
All right, I like that segue. I'll go with that. And Evan Turner had a offer in the first half, 12 points in the second half. He looked a lot more like himself. He even kicked off the second half by hitting a 15-foot jumper in vintage Evan Turner style.
Yes.
That was great to see. He ends up with a plus 12, playing 40 minutes. He was solid tonight. Most notably was for his defense. So Isaiah noted this, and Brad noted this after the game. That
it's tough to say he played great defense, but go on.
So Isaiah dropped 41 with him defending him for a lot of that game.
Right.
But Brad said, I really felt like Evan played good defense despite the fact that Isaiah had 41 points. And Isaiah said that Evan told him, you dropped 38 on me, man. I still got you.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go out and say Isaiah won that battle.
Okay.
Even though I think Evan did a commendable job trying to limit him. I mean, we know Isaiah can really get hot at certain stages. And I think for the most part, he limited like a crazy hot streak from Thomas that we've seen multiple times. But it was good to see Thomas here. I mean, it was good to see Turner back here tonight because you kind of remember how important he was to the team last year. People forget, before Isaiah Thomas became Mr. Fourth Quarter, it was Evan Turner. I think Evan Turner was like one of the go-to guys for them right down the stretch. Brad Stevens put a lot of trust in Evan Turner to hit those game-winning shots. And because of it, Evan Turner should give, I would say, 10% of his contract earnings to Brad Stevens.
Well, it's about $1.7 million this year, that's a pretty nice payload.
I think he's worth it.
And while obviously he's still not hitting threes, a lot of the year they've kind of struggled to figure out how to work him in with not the fact that they have Crabbe out there, but also to try to put him in there with Lillard and McCollum. He started tonight after not starting in their last game. It seemed to work fairly well, especially having Crabbe come off the bench for them, but he seemed to complement them pretty well. It still kind of feels like a lot of that Blazers offense is relying on Lillard and McCollum to make some great plays in the pick and roll or in ISO. McCollum did it in the first half. Lillard really did it in the second half. What do you think was the key for them just having that edge over the Celtics tonight?
I think the Celtics, in a way, hurt themselves. But at the same time, you do have to credit the Blazers for defense for causing a lot of those turnovers. Because as we know, the Celtics had 21 turnovers tonight, turned into 34 points. And I'm sure we'll probably talk about some of those issues in the second video. But listen, the guard play from the Blazers, we know this. They're two of the best guards in the NBA. They make up one of the best backcourts in the NBA. And now Evan Turner, even though he signed a deal that kind of pays him like, a top player, he's now the third option at least on offense. And I know that they can go in a number of different directions, but in the Celtics, he was probably the second behind Thomas.
Definitely was the second behind Thomas last year. No question about it. It is an adjustment, but hey, he's getting paid more money. He's got a nice house. He's living the good life in Portland. So before we go to break here, why don't you tell me what your greatest Evan Turner memory is here in Boston?
Oh, God, you're really putting me on the spot.
There's so many, though. I know. Like you can come up with one.
That's the thing. Do you have one?
So for me, it's a very subtle one. It was the time that he hit a layup. I think it was against Atlanta, and the ref kind of like stuck his hands out to say like next possession or whatever, and Evan just high-fived him as he ran by. Evan just always is having fun in any situation.
He's like sneaky, really witty and smart. It's not even sneaky anymore. But like I think there was one game where he hit a couple big threes, and as we know last year, he wasn't a great three-point shooter. And after the game, he was sarcastically talking about how you have to respect his three-point shot. Everybody knows that you have to respect his three-point shot. So I mean, that's the type of guy he is. He's very self-deprecating in a way, but he can also, I think he's one of the better trash talkers in the NBA.
He is great. And by the way, on Jay Crowder, no fight. They're all boys. He said he didn't even know what happened with Jay. He was just trying to get him out of there because it's Jay. Yeah. But he even said that they're still really close friends, and he actually is giving him the hookup on some nice glasses in Philadelphia. And Evan's renowned for having some extremely rare designer glasses. So and Jay likes that. And Jay picked that up, and Evan said that he had to teach Jay and build Jay up to be a fashion icon, and I think it worked pretty well.
And Thomas talked a little bit after the game about that, that little incident, and just the fact that they're still really good friends, and they were going back and forth. I think that's really important to remember, is that last year, the Celtics, they weren't the most talented team, but they were a very close team, and I think that got them, that really got them as far as they, I think it brought them further than maybe they could have gone because of their close relationships and the fact that they sort of played off each other.
And they don't have Turner anymore to kind of help facilitate that and counteract some of the intensity that they get from a lot of the other guys in the locker room. All right, so we'll come back for part 2, and we'll explore a little bit more some of the issues that cropped up in today's game. This is the Garden Report on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog.